really it starts with hunting and getting a deer. So finding people who are hunters and asking them to donate their hides if they don't use them, and trying to find hides that are really well skinned off the animal, because that makes a huge difference in tanning. And then after that stage, you have to flesh it right away to get all of the meat and extra fats and stuff from the inside of it out. And then even before you start a hide tanning workshop, you would have that deer hide soaking for at least a week, if not longer. And you have to soak it in a lye solution. We use potassium hydroxide flakes. Traditionally, it would be soaked in hardwood ash. And then once it's ready, that lye will help swell up the entire skin. So it exposes all the different layers that are a part of that skin. And it makes it really easy for us to move on to the next step, which is scraping off the hair. So we are using a wet scrape method to tan these deer hides. And we have basically a beam and a fleshing knife like you've seen. And we're just pushing that hair out once it's ready to come out, and also scraping off the grain layer off of the entire hide. Sometimes it can take a long time. It's all really dependent on the deer, how old it is. Sometimes the weather, when it was harvested, can impact it too. Like you can tell if it's a winter hide, its fur is a lot thicker and there's a lot more there versus a summer hide or a spring hide and that kind of thing. And then after that, you have to soak it in water to sort of rinse out all the alkalinity that's in that hide from the lye solution. It's ideal if you have a lake or a river or a moving body of water that you can soak it in, because you want that water to be fresh and changing. So you do that for overnight, and once you go take that hide out of the water, you really see a difference in it. It's quite interesting to see it go from that swollen hide that you worked on to an animal skin for the next part. And then the next day is all about braining, and the brains are kind of the magical step to this, where a lot of people know that each animal has enough fatty acids and chemicals in its own brain to tan its entire hide. And those fats really lend to being able to break down the hide and make it flexible and malleable and into the beautiful piece of cloth that we end up with after. So you make your brain solution. There's a lot of different ways you can do that, and it's really community dependent. Some communities add different things. Some people put butter in, some people put soap in it as well. Some people just use straight up brains and water. But you really want to work that into the hide and allow it to penetrate all the pores, because it's really going to assist you in getting a really beautiful soft hide. You let that soak overnight, and then the next day can be drying it out and breaking the hide, some people call that. So that's when we would start by wringing it out with either two people or on a pole, and you make your hide donut and you wring it out really, really well to get as much of the moisture as you possibly can out. Then we would string it up on a frame, just like the hides we've been working on. And you then have to work the hide with a scraper tool or a stick, and just constantly all day until it's completely dry, work that hide so that you're breaking all of those fibers. Because the hide naturally wants to dry really stiff, like this. All of the collagen fibers want to just attach to itself, and that creates rawhide. So that's used for some things, like we use it for drums. Some people use it to make all sorts of different things and pieces of art, but we want a nice, really soft piece of hide. So the difference really is the brains and breaking it down and working that hide. So once it's completely dry, and you've softened it all day and your hands are really sore, you can kind of move on to the next step, which is the final step and that's smoking the hide, which is what we're doing right now. And smoking the hide is kind of the final step that seals everything that you've done and helps to waterproof it or weatherproof it and give it the beautiful smell that home tanned hide is known for. So you have to sew it into a smoking sack, and then you put it over a bucket with some hot coals, and we use punky wood. So punky wood is like rotted wood. I've always been taught that we're supposed to use punky spruce, so like really red, really decomposing wood, dried out, to put on top of those hot coals to create all of that smoke. And that's what's giving the hide its final color, that really beautiful tanned color, and also the smell. So yeah, those are pretty much all the steps to a deer hide.
Love it. Thank you.